morning, dear students. Welcome to the second part of our problem solving session. We are dealing with our first chapter, electric charges and fields. In the first class, we have solved some problems and we have discussed about the way to approach a problem in physics. And I hope that you have done all the remaining exercises in the textbook. And this class is only for your reference. So we'll consider the seventh question. Question number 7. An electrostatic field line is a continuous curve. That is, a field line cannot have sudden breaks. Why? Explain why two field lines never cross each other at any point. We know electric field lines are the path along which a unit positive charge moves in an electric field. That is the definition of electric field lines. Now, why the field lines are continuous? Because charge experiences continuous force in an electric field. Okay? So, whenever a force is acting on a charge, the charge must move. So, the charge experiences continuous force in an electric field. And so, the electric field lines are continuous. Now, coming to the second part of the question. Why no sudden breaks? Because charge moves continuously and does not jump from one point to another. See, if the electric field line is not continuous, that means the charge move or jump from one point to another point. Okay, so there are no sudden breaks. That means the charge is experienced by the force due to the electric field at all points where the field is present. Wherever you have an electric field and if you have a charge in that field, at all points in that field, the charge experiences a force. So, charge continuously experiences force and hence the charge moves continuously. So, it does not jump from one point to another point. So, there are no sudden breaks. Now, two field lines never cross each other. Why? Because if they cross each other at the point of intersection, there will be two directions for the direction of electric field, which is impossible. One of the property of the electric field line is that at any point, the direction of field intensity is given by the tangent at that point. So, if two field lines cross each other, at the point of intersection, there will be two directions. And two directions at the same time for electric field, it is not possible. Now, question number 8. 2-point charges QA 3 microcoulomb and QB minus 3 microcoulomb are located 20 centimeters apart in vacuum. First part, what is the electric field at the midpoint O of the line AB joining the two charges? So, you are given two charges A and B. See the figure. At A, you have 3 microcoulomb charge. At B, you have minus 3 microcoulomb charge. O is the midpoint. And remember, in the previous class, I have told you 1 microcoulomb means 10 raised to minus 6 coulomb. The distance between the two charges, that is given to be 20 centimeters in the question. And the distance between A and O, that's what we want, because you want to find out the electric field intensity at O. So, distance between O and A, that is 10 centimeters. So, at O, what is the net electric field intensity? We know there are two fields acting at at O, one due to the charge at A and the other due to the charge at B. Now, we'll find out the direction of field at O due to A. Field at O due to A. How will you find out the direction? For that you place unit positive charge at O. At O you place unit positive charge. See how it moves. Of course the charge will be repelled. The unit positive charge at O will be repelled due to the charge at A. So that gives you the direction of electric field due to A, that is EA. Okay, so EA is along OB. The direction is given by the arrow mark. Now you want to find out the field intensity at O due to the charge at B. At B there is a negative charge. So the charge at O, which is unit positive charge, experiences a force of attraction from the charge at B. B, you have negative charge. So at O, the positive charge experiences a force of attraction. That means the charge at O will be moving or will have a tendency to move towards B. The force is attractive, or the electric field intensity is again along OB. So you have two field intensities EA and EB, both are in the same direction, and by the principle of superposition you know E equal to EA plus EB, both are vectors, so the vector sum of the fields. Since both are in the same direction, it's easy, you just have to find out the sum. So vector E equal to vector EA plus vector EB. Now how will you find out the electric field intensity? You have the formula 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 Q by R square. That 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 is here denoted by K. Okay, so E equal to KQ by R square. Now simple, substitute the values. K 9 into 10 raised to 9 into Q 3 into 10 raised to minus 6 divided by distance 0.1 into 0.1. That is EA plus what is EB? Similarly you can write 9 into 10 raised to 9 into 3 into 10 raised to minus 6 divided by 0.1 into 0.1. And if you calculate EA, you will get 27 into 10 raised to 5 plus EB also equal to 27 into 10 raised to 5. So altogether you will get 54 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per Coulomb. Don't forget to put the SI unit. Whenever you solve problem, it is compulsory that you put the SI unit. Now what is the direction? What is the direction of the net field intensity? Of course it is along OB, because EA, EB both are along direction OB as given in the arrow mark. So you have the net field intensity along the same direction. Okay. Here in the previous class we have discussed about the direction. Means you don't have to put the sign of the charge while finding out the field and force. Instead you are considering the direction by considering the sign of the charge. So here also we didn't substitute the value of Q with sign. The sign is taken into consideration when we have obtained the directions of electric field intensity. So you got the net field intensity. Now the second part of the question, if a negative test charge of magnitude 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 9 Coulomb is placed at this point, what is the force experienced by the test charge? Remember the same figure, you have two charges A and B. At O is the midpoint. At O you are given a negative test charge and its magnitude is 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 9 Coulomb. And you are asked to find out the force. Okay, so electric field already you have obtained. The value of Q is given 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 9 Coulomb. Then F, force you want to find out, and simple, the formula is F is equal to QE. Q is given, E you have, so you just have to substitute 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 9 into 54 into 10 raised to 5 equal to 81 into 10 raised to minus 4 Newton. Now what about the direction of the force? The direction of electric field we got that it was along OB. Okay, what is the direction of the force? See, the the charge is negative. You are given that charge Q is a negative charge. Okay, so a negative charge, whenever it is placed in an electric field, it experiences a force opposite to the direction of the electric field. Okay, negative charge experiences force opposite to the direction of the electric field. The force is along OA. Hope that it's clear for you. Now, coming to the 9th question. A system has two charges QA equal to 2.5 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb and QB equal to minus 2.5 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb located at points A 0, 0, minus 15 centimeters and B 0, 0, plus 15 centimeters respectively. What are the total charge and electric dipole moment of the system? Read the question carefully as I have told you in the previous session. You understand the question. You are given two charges QA and QB. Two charges are given. One is positive and the other is negative. And the position of the charges A 0, 0, minus 15 centimeters and B 0, 0, plus 15 centimeters. You are given the coordinates of the two charges. You are not given the distance between the charges. Instead, you are given the coordinates. You are familiar with the Cartesian coordinates x, y, z. You are given x, y, z coordinates. And from the given things, it is clear that x coordinates 0, y coordinates 0 and z coordinates minus 15 centimeter and plus 15 centimeter. Now just think along which axis the charges are placed. On which axis the charges are placed? Is it along an axis? Is it along the x-axis? No, because x-axis coordinates 0, 0. Is it along the y-axis? Of course no, coordinates 0. A, and for B also it is 0. Now see the coordinates of z-axis. It is minus 15 centimeter. That means it must be along the negative z-axis, and point B is plus 15 centimeters. So it must be along the positive z-axis. So one charge is placed at minus 15 centimeters on the negative z-axis and the other charge on the other side, means along the positive z-axis at plus 15 centimeter. So now you can find out the distance between the two charges. Okay. Now coming to the solution. You are given the charges QA, QB, net charge you want to find out, and dipole moment P you want to find out. What is the net charge? We know charge is a scalar quantity. So to find the net charge, you just have to add the two charges. It's a scalar quantity, you can just add like numbers. So plus 2.5 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb plus minus 2.5 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb. The net charge is equal to 0. Now what's the dipole moment? We know dipole moment Q equal Q into 2A. P equal to Q into 2A. Q is given. 2A is the distance between the two charges. Here you are not given the distance. Instead you are given the coordinates, and I have told you how to find out the distance between the charges or length of the dipole. Distance between the two charges in a dipole is known as the length of the dipole. So what is the distance between the 2 points or distance between the two charges? It is 15 minus 15, the distance between the 2 points. So that comes to be 30 centimeters or 30 into 10 raised to minus 2 meter. Now you just have to substitute P equal to 2.5 into 10 raised to minus 7 into 30 into 10 raised to minus 2 equal to 75 into 10 raised to minus 9. Okay. So 7.5 into, this can be written in this form, 7.5 into 10 raised to minus 8 coulometer. That's SI unit of dipole moment, Coulomb meter, and it is along the Z axis. Coming to question number 10. An electric dipole with dipole moment 4 into 10 raised to minus 9 Coulomb meter is aligned at 30 degree with the direction of a uniform electric field of magnitude 5 into 10 raised to 4 Newton per Coulomb. Calculate the magnitude of the torque acting on the dipole. So you are given the electric field, then you are given dipole moment, you are given the angle. Okay, it's a direct question. You just have to substitute. P is given, theta given, E given. You are asked to find out the torque. Of course, torque equal to PE sin theta. So 4 into 10 raised to minus 9 into 5 into 10 raised to 4 into sin 30, which is 1 by 2. So it comes to be 10 raised to minus 4 Newton meter, the value of torque. Question number 11. A polythene piece wrapped with wool is found to have a negative charge of 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 Coulomb. Estimate the number of electrons transferred from which to which. You are asked to find out the number of electrons transferred, and you have to find out from which material to which material it is transferred. Second part of the question, is there a transfer of mass from wool to polythene? Which property you can use here? You can use quantization of charge. Okay, quantization of charge tells you that all charges in the universe is an integral multiple of charge of an electron. That means Q equal to NE. You are given Q, 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 Coulomb. What is N? From the formula Q by E. E, charge of an electron. So 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 divided by charge of electron 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 Coulomb comes to be 1.9 into 10 raised to 12. So 1.9 into 10 raised to 12 electrons gives you 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 Coulomb. 1.9 into 10 raised to 12. Can you imagine the number? After 1.9 you have 12 zeros, or after 19 you have 11 zeros. So it's a huge number, right? So these many electrons can give you 3 into 10 raised to minus 7 Coulomb. Okay, then how many electrons are required to get 1 Coulomb charge? You just try to find out how many electrons are required to get 1 Coulomb charge. So that number will give you an idea. 1 Coulomb is how much big a charge is. It's a huge amount of charge. So usually we speak about micro Coulomb, nano Coulomb, etc. Okay, 1 Coulomb charge means such a huge amount of charge. So now coming to the other part, then transfer of electron takes place here from wool to polythene. Electron gets transferred from wool to polythene. So wool acquires positive charge and polythene acquires negative charge. The material from which the electrons are transferred, that gets positive charge. The material which gains electrons will get negative charge. Second part of the question. What was the question? Is there transfer of mass taking place? Of course, there is transfer of mass taking place. But we know mass of electron is very, very small. It's about 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31 kilogram. Such a small value. So, even if there is transfer of mass, that mass is very small. The value is very small because mass of electron is very, very small. It is negligibly small. So, is there any transfer of mass taking place? Yes. But the mass transferred is very small. Now, coming to the 12th question. Two insulated charged copper spheres A and B have their centers separated by a distance of 50 centimeters. What is the mutual force of electrostatic repulsion if the charge on each is 6.5 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb? The radii of A and B are negligible compared to the distance of separation. So you are given two spheres, both are having the same charge, and you are given the distance between them, okay, and the radii can be neglected. It is very small. So R 0.5 meter, Q 6.5 into 10 raised to minus 7 coulomb, and F you have to find out. The formula for F is K Q1 Q2 divided by R square. In this case, Q1 Q2 both are equal. You can consider it as Q. K Q by R square. Substitute 9 into 10 raised to 9 into 6.5 into 10 raised to minus 7 into 6.5 into 10 raised to minus 7 divided by 0.5 into 0.5 will give you 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 2 Newton. Okay. Now, coming to the second part of the question. What is the force of repulsion if each sphere is charged double the above amount and the distance between them is half? Read the question carefully. You are given that the charge on each sphere is doubled and distance between them is halved. So, again you have to find out the force of repulsion. Okay. Now, Q dash. Let Q dash be the new charge. It is 2Q. R dash. R dash is the new distance. Let it be equal to R by 2. Let the new force be equal to F dash. Okay, the charge is different now. The distance is different. So naturally the force between the two spheres will also be different. That new force is denoted by F dash. So the formula K into, instead of Q it is Q dash. Q dash into, again Q dash divided by R dash square. So that is F dash equal to K into 2Q into 2Q divided by R by 2 the whole square. You'll get K into Q into 4 divided by R square by 4 equal to 16F. What is F there? It is the previous force, that is when the charge was Q and when the distance was R. Okay, so K into Q by R square, the previous force. So you will get the new force F dash as 16 into 1.5 into 10 raised to minus 2. So you will get 0.24 Newton. Hope that it's clear to you. So please comment your doubts and suggestions, and please subscribe the channel and press bell icon for notification. Do all the questions on your own, and for your reference I'll come with the next video. Thank you.